everyone. Welcome to Creativity-Hive's weekly program. We are kicking off season 4, episode 111. How cool is that? My name is Miriam Haugen. I am part of the Creativity-Hive team. We help creatives learn to make impactful storytelling videos through one-on-one teaching and live group coaching. Our weekly hangout brings you people working in all forms of motion media, from broadcasting, video, and all of the related industries from across the globe. Be sure and leave a comment and let us know where you are joining us from. I'm really excited about our guest today. This week, we're really happy to have Russ Hedge, an awesome mentor and friend of mine. He's going to be talking about live streaming, how to build your business, your visibility, and your income through what we're doing right now, live streaming. And hello, Russ.
Hello. How's it going, Miriam?
Great.
It is so good to be here, and I appreciate you so much. I mean, first of all, you're an amazing friend, but yeah, I mean, you have just embraced live streaming, and I think that's awesome.
Awesome. Yes. So I would love to start out by you telling a little bit of your story. What actually, first of all, inspiration specialist may not, may be a little vague for some people, but yeah. So tell us about what you're doing now and how you got to where you're going.
Well, let me back up just a little bit and say that, like many people, Miriam and I knew each other in my previous life in corporate business and a corporate sales and marketing manager. And I love sales and marketing. I do. And so, but when COVID happened, I did that pivot like so many people, started my own business, which I had actually really started right before COVID hit. So I was kind of prepared to go into it anyway. And it was really the best move I ever made, which ended up leading to things like live streaming and all of those type of things. And I am a firm believer in connection and community building. And one way you do that is through things like live streaming. So I have 5 different live streams a week that I do. One with a great co-host that Miriam knows, D. Scott Smith, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Miriam has been on all of our shows, I think. And so, yeah, we really love it. And it's a great way to raise visibility. We're going to talk more about that. But I have launched from just doing good old marketing and marketing coaching into showing people how they can connect and raise their visibility and how they can utilize that for their business. And really, that kind of all backs all the way up to inspiration for me, Miriam. I love to inspire and encourage people. It's really my why or purpose in life. And I find ways to do that through gaining visibility and doing marketing and all of those things. I have a fun time just inspiring and encouraging people, and that's where the inspiration specialist title came from.
All right. So 5 live streams a week. How do you do it all? I mean, that's I would be spending my entire time doing nothing but trying to line up guests and everything, posting and doing all that stuff. How do you do it?
Well, first of all, I don't do it all. That's how I do it. The reason, what I mean by that is I have an amazing assistant, Ever, who is phenomenal. And she does a lot of the work in the background because I'll be honest with you, it's a lot of work. And we're going to talk a little bit about monetization. But let me tell you just the reason that all came about. When I started this process, I thought to myself, you know what, Miriam? I really like what I'm doing. I really enjoy this. This live streaming thing is a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. And so I'm going to have to actually make some money doing this in order to pay for doing it, right? I don't make a
Right.
lot of money off doing it, but I definitely pay for all of it and my assistant and times like that. And so that is where the monetization started. And without her help, I could not do the number that I do, but it's a lot of fun. And as you build community and you do it more, it becomes easier. So it's a lot of fun.
All right. So, yeah, tell us, how do you monetize a live stream?
Well, Good question. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do actually. People do it in different ways. Some people say to me, well, if you want to monetize, you got to get over 1,000 followers on YouTube and then you can monetize it, right? Well, they've actually dropped that back to 500 now on YouTube, but you've got to get a certain number of followers and then you can actually go through their monetization program. You could do things through Facebook and LinkedIn and other stuff too. There's ways to monetize different ways, but I thought to myself, I'm kind of a simple-minded guy, and I wanna make it easy for me and easy for people to do it, right? And so, Miriam, you as one of my amazing friends and one of my great supporters over the years have known that I've made it pretty simple to be part of. I've made it affordable and I've made it easy to do. Not a lot of work on the part of people that support me. We do all the work, other than occasionally asking for a logo. Most of the time, we pull that off social media and do all the work without even the guests doing anything or the sponsors doing anything. But we went to a sponsorship program where actually you get sponsors for the live stream. And then you do that by getting people that want to support you and your ideas and what you're trying to get out there, right? What you're trying to get out to people in your community. And at the same time, they get great visibility. They get my sponsors, and we've talked about this before, Miriam, for the small amount that they pay for a sponsorship, they get 4 to 5 times that in advertising visibility from what we do. We do a lot for all the sponsors. And so we've created a deal where great that they can support us, but also they get a great deal all at the same time. So that's kind of where we went to is a simple program. And do you want me to continue on to give a little more information on that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Well, first of all, I thought to myself, I need to have like a no-brainer price for everybody told me, well, first of all, people told me, I've I've told you this, Miriam. They told me, okay, here's what you have to do. I've been doing this for 500 years and this is the way it works, right? This is my conventional thinking for you. First of all, you have to get 1 million or more followers, and then you have to step through the 10-step program on how to monetize your live stream, and then you need to jump through this hoop and that hoop and this hoop and that hoop.
And you'd
Then you
never
can think,
get there.
yeah, and then you can think about doing it. And I said, oh, okay, great. And they look at me and they go, great. And I said, yeah. They said, okay, so what do you think? I said, well, I've already monetized. And they said, what? I said, yeah, actually, I had 2 followers, my wife and I, and we just, I thought, you know what? I'm going to be dumb enough to think if I ask people to support me that they're going to say yes. And guess what? They said yes. And so I started getting sponsors. Well, then we grew and grew with the amount that we have. But, I learned the value for the sponsors is not really in, I'm letting a secret out here. I charge for this normally, so I'm giving it to you all free. The secret is not in the actual live stream or podcast itself, because people think, oh, you got to have all these followers to make it worthwhile. No, no, no. The secret is in all the advertising that leads up to it. We do organic posting and ads in all social media, all the major social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all of those. There's ads going out on everything with your company logo and links to your company, or whatever you're supporting. I also have nonprofits that we support. And so you get all of that the whole week. So you're getting the 4 to 5 time value that week leading up to that. So by the time we get to the live stream and you get an on-screen little video with your logo and the name of your company and how to connect with you, that also translates to our audio podcast. People hear the same thing because we change all of our live streams into audio podcasts that go out on all major audio podcast platforms like iTunes and Amazon and Spotify and all of that. And on top of that, we even do follow-ups with pictures and videos, and you get advertising and your logo on those things as well. So all of that value leading up to it, you've already got way more than you paid for. And on top of it, you get the gravy, which is the actual live stream itself. So really, it's kind of a no brainer. And the price I came up with is something that I thought to myself, if someone asked me this, would I have to elevate it to my boss and to their boss and to their boss to all these levels to get an answer, right? You don't have time to
Right.
wait that long to get, answers. So what I did is I made it to a point where people can say, yeah, okay, yes, I'll do it. And Miriam, since that time, besides all the conventional people that told me I was doing it wrong, um, most of them are not monetized, by the way. And the ones that were monetized started and it didn't really work and stopped because they told me I wasn't charging enough and they tried charging these astronomical prices with a 10 levels of giving and all this stuff. I just kept one price, simple. I just kept it, just basic, and I made it a price that people could say yes to. And the way we build our program is we just add on sponsors. So, it might start with one or two, and it might end up going to three or four on a show. But everybody still gets that visibility. They still get that moment. They still get what they're getting. So it has been, yeah, it's enabled me to do all of this, and it's really a blast. I tell you.
Awesome. So, what did you do before you became an inspiration specialist? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, 30 plus years, probably more than that now, 30 plus years of sales and marketing, mostly being a sales and marketing manager. Also, I'm a worship pastor. So I was a worship pastor for years as well. I have now passed the torch to my daughter, who's an amazing worship pastor. And I cheer her on at church because she's actually full-time worship pastor at the church we attend. So that's a blessing. Um, so those are the things that I did. But I've really, Miriam, I mean, I've always been about people. I've always been a pretty visible guy, and I've always used the techniques and the practices as far as loving, caring, and serving people all throughout my career. And it's really served me well because I've been able to build an enormous community of people that are willing to support me and support my business, which is a blessing. And so that's kind of where I went. In fact, I believe you were one of them, Miriam. When I made the change to my own business, the number one question that people asked me was, how can I help you?
Uh,
What can I do to support you? I mean, I didn't even have to ask them. And so it was just because of all the years of connection and community building with people.
Now, you are an extrovert. That's pretty clear, I think, to everybody watching and to anybody who's been around you. You are an extrovert. So it seems like, well, of course you can do that. You're an extrovert. But what about me? I'm really kind of an introvert. I don't really, I want to just talk with one person. I don't want to talk with a whole crowd of people. I don't know if I could build this network. Um, so how would you answer that?
Well, I think because I've dealt with introverts that have become fabulous salespeople, I think everybody thinks they have to be out there like me and be crazy and really doing all this stuff to attract attention all the time in order to be successful. And that's really not true because it takes all different personalities. What it really takes is a heart of caring, of sharing, of wanting to grow and build community and support other people. And I find, Miriam, the number one way to build community, to connect to people and build community is be authentic, be your real self, be a little bit vulnerable. I've been a little bit vulnerable over the last year with my whole cancer journey and all of that. People really tie into challenges in life and reality. When you have a positive outcome or a positive message in the midst of challenges, people tie into that. But also just really linking, I mean, just really connecting with people at whatever level that you're comfortable with or your personality allows you to do with. And like I said, I have found introverts that have done amazing because people just say, wow, such a real authentic person. I connect with them. I understand all that they're going through or the good things happening in their life. And I like this person. that's what it takes to really build, I think, a good career in sales and marketing and all the things you're doing. And hey, D. Scott Smith.
Yes. Good comment. It doesn't require being an extrovert. Um, it's not limited by being an introvert. I
Right.
think you're right about the whole authenticity and showing that you care about the other person, being
Right.
empathetic, um, and that's how you build connections. I think an extrovert maybe can do it a little bit faster,
Maybe.
but you had some really great tips you gave me about how if you're in a live networking event, how to make a personal connection to everybody in the room.
Right.
Why don't you talk about that?
Well, and this is interesting because Scott and I, who is my great friend, and Scott, we should do a show on this one because we did a show a while back on something we disagreed on the wording. It was on failure. And Scott and I actually disagree on the wording on this too, but we always come to the same conclusion on things because we're very like minded. But Scott feels like you go into a room and you focus in on a handful of people. And that's not a bad way to go, by the way. My technique is to go into a room and touch every single person in that room. How do I do that? People say that's impossible. No, it's not impossible. First of all, I'm really good at attracting attention to myself. And so what I do is I go into a room first off and take every opportunity given to me to speak or to put something out there that's going to attract everybody's attention. And so I have a fancy tagline. I get everybody chanting after me. I give a shout out. I thank other people. I do things so people hear my name and hear what's going on with me, everybody in the room. But also, I make sure as I'm going through to say hi to everybody, even if I only get to say hi and wave at them or whatever, that still is a touch with that person because you're still getting that second or two of face to face, right? And that what happens is when you do that over and over and over, you ingrain yourself in their minds. And then you take it to the step of hashtag Russ selfie, where this is my technique is where I get the old camera up, start taking selfies. What that does is people love it. They all dive into it. And suddenly you're etched on their social media with your name and all this stuff. And you're best friends after your first meeting because you were all together in a selfie. And so those kind of techniques, it doesn't have to be a selfie, but a technique like that, the things that raise the visibility, then you could take those into the virtual world and you could do a similar thing because what I do from that point on is I start picking people out and doing one-on-ones. Hey Miriam, let's go grab coffee. Hey Scott, let's go grab lunch, whatever. And you start getting people that you know you really want to form a deeper connection with. And so people that maybe you can do business with or you just think it will be advantageous to be in your community. And so you start doing that and you do the exact same thing online. You get yourself out there, you get in front of everybody, you start nailing down the people you're interested in, you do individual Zooms or you bring them on your live stream or you do things that will give you time to really connect and form relationships. And that's what it's really all about. The power of the selfie. Yes.
Yeah. And coffee.
There you go. Thanks, Ever.
All right. So I I think sometimes marketing people make mistake by going, oh, let's hop on a call, let's have coffee, and there's pushback because oh, they're just trying to get something from me. They want me to buy. They want me to, you know, do their, sign on to whatever their thing is. I think that something that you successfully do is that you really do just want to make a connection,
Right.
and you don't know where that connection might lead. it
Exactly.
it might lead to them becoming a client, but it might just be that they'll introduce you to somebody else. um,
Exactly.
so
Yeah, well, let me expand on that because I agree with you 100%. My whole workshop called Turn Cold Calling into Making Friends is based on this concept too, because everybody hates cold calling because they have to sell something to somebody. And I taught my teams over the years don't sell them anything. Just go in and make friends, right? If you go in and make friends and you build a network and a community, then they're going to ask you how they can buy from you, right? And there's some great stories. Dale Carnegie and How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a great book you should read. Also, he does the same thing, really connecting with people, and then the people want to know how they can help you, and that is just a critical point because, like when you and I first met, Miriam, and you have firsthand knowledge of this, my goal with people is just to make friends and connections because I don't know that you need what I want or what I sell. I don't know that you if that even is a fit for you, right? And so my thought to you is I just want to get to know who you are and what you're all about. How can I be a blessing to you? And then, hey, maybe down the road we can do some business together. Sometimes that happens sooner than later. One of the live streams I produce, the host of that live stream that's in England, it was she and I hit it off immediately. We were great friends, and by the second or third time we talked, I was already producing a show for her because sometimes it happens really fast, but it happens through a natural, authentic process because people know Miriam. Everybody, if you have half a brain, and you all do that are watching, you know the minute someone's trying to get you out to coffee or lunch to sell you, you can feel it, right? But I think people learn your character, and I hope people have learned my character that I just really want to make friends. And then, sure, down the road, if there's opportunities or things, I'm going to share those, you bet. But that is not my initial intent. And that is not what I'm all about. And my phone is ringing, which is really interesting because I thought it was off. And
Right.
that's live. That's live, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. You just never know. Okay. So the person that you were referencing, Dr. Nupi Aurora, did I pronounce that right?
That's right.
That,
Noopy,
that's
she's
the
my
show you
little
produce.
sis. Yep. And there's a good example because I call her my little sis and she calls me her big bro. And she's in England and nowhere close to me across the pond. And she and I have just become like sister and brother. She's just an amazing, amazing friend. Never been in the same room, or as Scott would say, never seen each other in 3D. Um, so, there's times when that's going to happen. By the way, I've got a great opportunity coming up that I'll tell you about. Um, but yeah, she is the one that we just hit it off so fast and as friends. And then next thing you know, I was producing her show. I'm the one that encouraged her to do it. I said, you have an amazing ability to connect with people. You've got to do a live stream. And she goes, great, let's do it.
You need to produce it for me. Is that what? Did it go that
Well,
fast?
I told her,
Uh-huh.
and this is what I tell everybody: I'll walk you through and give you pointers and help you, and then if you want me to produce it, let me know. But I'm glad to get you started in the right direction. And she's like, I don't want to mess with any of that. You just produce it. I said, that's fine. So
Right.
yes,
So I assume it's so Ever is behind the scenes posting these things that look like they're coming from you. That's your little secret. But you didn't start out that way.
no,
Obviously, you
no,
didn't have
no.
the funds right off the bat. You did have to do it all yourself.
Well,
But
and yeah, and that's another thing right there, Miriam. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, go ahead.
She and I have Ever is such she's like a sister. She is amazing. She's a wonderful woman of God that has an amazing family and we are so connected. She knows what I'm going to say. She knows my thoughts. She knows what I want to put out there. And so I just let her do it because it's too hard for me to type that fast. But I have done it and I still do it on some shows where she's not available. But it's way easier to focus on you and being the guest on this show when I don't have to be typing on my keyboard the whole time. And so it's wonderful to have her. And that is, I'm always very authentic about that. Anybody who knows me knows it's Ever behind the scenes typing all this stuff. I don't try to hide it, but it's coming from me, yes, because she's blessing me and working with me to promote my brand and all the things that I'm doing. So it all comes she'll comment as herself every now and then, which is great because she is a real person and she has her own thing. But yeah, I think being authentic like that and people realize then it's not kind of a like underhanded thing or anything. It's just, hey, this is what we do.
Right, right. Okay, so she posted this. Please head over to russhedge.com/workshop. So
Right.
uh, is there a particular workshop that you're trying to get people to sign on to?
Well, we do these occasionally, and the workshops are there, and I can do them individually for
Okay,
individuals or companies. And occasionally, I'll post one, and I'll do it for anybody that wants to sign up. So, if you're interested in any of those workshops, all you got to do is message me, and we can set it up for your team or your people. One of those is how to turn cold calling into making friends. That's one of the workshops.
yeah,
Um, there's turning purpose into profit. There is currently you can get a free download. I do a whole workshop on this, but you can get a free download on my website, russhedge.com, for the successfully transform your business in 3 simple steps. It's all about connection and community building. It's an amazing program, and I individually do this for companies and people. So please reach out to me if you're interested. All that stuff, pretty much everything about me is at russhedge.com. So that's the place to go.
that's the first place to go. Although I'm
First place
sure
to go.
they could send you a connection request through LinkedIn or one of the other things. But yeah,
Absolutely. All of those links are on russhedge.com, by the way. So you can go to any of those, and you can pick up, if you don't want to go to Amazon, you can pick up my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose. You can pick up my new international bestseller, Rattled Awake, that we just released in the last week. And I'm one of about 11 co authors, which it's an amazing, amazing opportunity, which again came about, Miriam, by connecting and community building. Next thing you know, through Noopy, I was connected to this person. She was pulling me into this book project. We did it over one weekend. Over one night, it became an international bestseller. And so, amazing opportunities that people have to take advantage of by connecting and using video and live streaming things like this.
that's a whole nother topic. How to write a book, how to actually get it finished and published, and how to become a best-selling author. There are ways to do, and then you build. I think the biggest purpose is not that you're going to sell a million books and make money on the sale of the books, but to increase your credibility, which just helps you all the way around, right?
Well, it does. I mean, when I've self-published Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, I did that for a big business card, honestly, to give people information about me. It gave me opportunities on speaking on topics that I was really passionate about, and utilizing that. Last time I spoke, just a short time back, I was keynote speaker at an event, and they had a free copy of my book. They bought copies for every person at the event. So when you walked in, there was a copy of Befuddled on their place, and it's just given me that opportunity. And Rattled Awake was a great opportunity to quickly become a best-selling author. And I'll be honest with you, doing the actual technical part and becoming a best-selling author and all of those things, not my forte. D. Scott Smith is great. Lonnie Ray, who did our book for Rattled Awake, is great. Those people do the technical stuff. I was blessed with Rattled Awake to come in over a weekend, 3 sessions, wrote, edited, worked together. Boom, they did the rest. And so
Wow.
there's ways to, and it was already on Amazon within a week of us writing the book. It was pretty amazing. And my friend D. Scott Smith is great at that. So anybody wants to contact him, I would always direct you to somebody like him, because that is not my forte, getting your book out there.
Yeah, it is amazing. Okay, so I didn't prepare you for this, but if you were going to, you probably can do this off the top of your head. I know you. Your top three pieces of advice for somebody who is just starting out, um, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. Well, that's easy. Super, super easy. Okay. Number one, know your why or your purpose. Okay. You got to know why you're doing things. What is your purpose in doing stuff? If you don't know that, you're going to be lost from the get go. Okay. So you got to know your why or your purpose. Number two, you need to be you. You need to be your don't try to be somebody else. I don't try to be Miriam in my business. I don't try to be Scott in my business. I don't try to be somebody else. Be you. And number 3, connect and build community. Those 3 things are the foundation that will make you successful in whatever you do. So number 1, okay, know your wire purpose. Number 2, you need to be you, to be authentic, the real you, and being a little vulnerable at time is helpful. Connecting with people, thinking, "Wow, I'm not alone. I do go through problems like they do." And but number 3 is connecting and building community, because without people, you can't do anything. And connection and community building really is the foundation for any good marketing plan, any good business, really, I think any good life.
Know your why, be you, build community.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's it. Thanks,
And
Amber.
and don't be afraid, yes, and don't be afraid to ask. There are times where
Oh, yeah.
you think that it's not just going to necessarily fall in your lap. Be prepared when that person says, "How can I help you?" Say,
Right.
"Well, I've got a sponsorship opportunity." And don't be afraid. Assume that it's the answer is going to be yes. I found that helpful sometimes in my mind, little games that you have to play with yourself
Right.
that, oh,
Well,
this is,
let me just say here, I know we got to wrap up, but I was going
Mhm.
to say that don't let fear stop you, everybody, because it is not um the courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the ability to overcome fear and still make things happen. And how do you do that? One step at a time, one little step at a time. And yes, part of that involves asking people for help. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. And don't be afraid to ask people for to support your business and to support what you're doing. You just have to do it the right way. There's nothing wrong with everybody needs people to support their business and help them. You just can't be afraid to do it, and be you got to do it the right way. And if you build community and you connect really with people, they're naturally going to want to support you and help you.
providing they like you.
The know, like, and trust factor is a big deal. That's right. Yeah. Well, people, this is what I'll end on. My gold nugget. Know, like, and trust is a continual process of connection and community building. You got to get people to know who you are. And when you're outgoing like me and crazy, that's a little bit easier at times. Yeah, I'm out there, woo woo, taking selfies and everybody's jumping around. And so people know me pretty fast. They got to like you and not think you're a total dweeb and you're like totally crazy and weird and out there. You got to be, they got to like you. And then over time, they get to know you, then they really trust you. Trust does not come within the first or the second meeting. So if you jump on somebody and you start trying to sell them within the first 30 seconds of knowing them, that you've really kind of shot yourself in the foot right off the bat. Give it some time, get to know them. You've got to be working this know, like, and trust wheel constantly. And then people will be at different, and then the people that are at the trust level, those are the people that are going to actually be there to support and help you.
And we see that mistake um, being made all the time, on LinkedIn,
Yep.
where
Oh,
where
yeah.
somebody sends you a connection request and they're immediately saying, "Hey, can we hop on a call and I can tell you all about my blah blah blah," and I'm going, no. I'm I'm not really, I probably am not your target customer anyway, but um, oh, I had somebody who did that, and I thought, wow, this is intriguing. I would like to learn more. I don't know if I'd be a customer, but I would like to know more about this thing that they were selling. And so they set up an appointment. We had an online calendar invite. They didn't show up. I was there, ready to hear all about their business, and they didn't show up.
Wow. Wow. That is crazy. Well, you know what? You got to be consistent. You got to be there for people.
Yeah.
And trust me, if you guys want to connect with me, go to russhedge.com. I'm always there to talk and help and support you. And I know Miriam is the same. And I want to just encourage everybody to watch Creativity Hive, all that she's about and all the things that they've got going. Amazing, amazing opportunities for you.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, be sure and comment, guys. That really helps.
Comment, comment.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Thank you.